The last scale on the Myers-Briggs looks at how you want to organize your life, and you're going to decide whether you identify as being more of a J for judging or more of a P for perceiving, even though all of us can use bits of both of these throughout our life. So if you have a J preference, you tend to wake up every morning and say, "Hello world, this is my plan." Jays really like to have things organized, orderly. They like to have a sense of control over their schedule. They really are aware of deadlines. So, if a project is coming due Thursday at 5 p.m., they're going to get that done by Thursday at 5 p.m., often earlier. People who are Jays really like to know what their schedule is going to be. And the quickest way to tick them off is to throw a wrench in their plans. When something changes, that often is very stressful and irritating to them. So their great genius is being super organized and planful. You can look in their closets and there is a space for everything. You can look in their bags and they know exactly where things are. They don't like to beat around the bush. And often they really hate being in limbo when it comes to making a choice. So if Jays are struggling to figure out what they want to do for a career, they often have a ton of stress until they make the decision, and then they can calm down. They also really hate multitasking, so they want to start a project, get closure on it before they move on. If you're on the other side of the scale and you have more of a P preference for perceiving, you wake up every morning and you say, "Hello world, I wonder what you have in store for me today." These are people that really want to keep their options open. They like being spontaneous and flexible. They prefer to let life happen to them. They also are not terribly aware of deadlines. So these are the people that will realize, "Oh no, I have a project that's due tomorrow. I have to stay up all night and get it done." Kind of that last minute panic. The great genius of the Ps is that they're really pretty cool when it comes to change. If something has to shift last minute, they can go with it pretty well and in fact find it kind of energizing. They are the ultimate multitaskers. They will have multiple projects going at any one time. And they don't like to be constrained by too many deadlines, too many expectations. They like to leave things open. So if they have to make a career decision, they love having all these different jobs on the table. It's when they have to finally choose a major, finally commit to an occupation, that their anxiety and stress goes up a little bit. So a graphic I have for describing these two types, the J's going from point A to point B often will put in a lot of energy, work, and planning on the front end, and then smooth sailing, follow that plan till the end. Ps, on the other hand, tend to go all over the place, and then they realize that something's coming due, and then they do a ton of work right at the end and get it done just in the nick of time. So as Calvin and Hobbes' comic describes the stereotypical P, that last minute panic that gets them across the finish line. And then another example, J's tend to get relief when something's finished. Ps tend to really enjoy when there's plenty of time and they can just go with things. Also think about how you plan your vacations, right? Do you love to know where you're going to stay, what you're going to do, or do you prefer to just keep your days open and see what happens? So some more contrast that you see between J's and Ps. Planning ahead, controlling their lives versus spontaneously letting things happen. And then some more good JP words, product versus process, planned versus open-ended, resolved versus pending. And both of these styles are really great, but if you don't understand the opposite type, it can be pretty frustrating. So a test to see which is your natural style. Let's say that it's your best friend's significant birthday party and you want to plan a surprise party for them. Think about, based on what you know about yourself, when would you start the planning? Are you more of a J and you'd start way in advance, or are you more of a P and go, "Oh my gosh, my friend's birthday is tomorrow, what are we going to do?" What kind of steps do you go through? Are things super detailed? Where's the party going to be? Who's going to deal with food? Or do you just kind of let it happen? Another test to see which style you naturally are, when you think back to big homework projects you've had to do in the past, are you somebody that plans things out way in advance, or is it kind of that last minute adrenaline rush that helps you get stuff done? So think about naturally, not when you have to be a certain way at work or with other people, but when you're left to your own devices, how much do you want to organize your life? How planful do you want to be? So take a moment to think which style is a little bit more in your comfort zone.